judge me, it's a pot noodle. But you know what? It's convenient. And sometimes convenience is good. It's a bit like shooting panoramics. Okay, you can take a camera and you can shoot 5 to 7 shots and stitch them together to create one nice big panoramic. Or alternatively, you could have a camera which you can actually set to a panoramic setting and actually compose that shot in camera and take it in one single frame. Far more convenient, and you know what? Sometimes far more suitable for the job. Hi guys, and welcome to another video. Today I've come to the Northumberland National Park, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to go for a wild camp up the hills. I'm not going too high. I've got a relatively small bag, and it's going to be just me, my tent, and my digital X-Pan camera. Now, if only it was a real digital X-Pan. I used to own the X-Pan film camera, you know, an amazing camera. Probably one of the handful of cameras I do actually regret getting rid of. Such a lovely camera. I'll never be able to afford to buy one again. And I'm not sure I'd actually want to, because to be honest, the camera I'm taking with me produces results which I think are just as good, and with just exactly the same amount of convenience. I can compose shots in the 25-64 format, and I can take them all in a single frame. No more using L brackets and sort of doing panoramic stitches of like 5 to 7 shots to try and get that one single shot, and not knowing exactly how I'm going to compose this. You know, it's always a little bit of guesswork if you're doing a manual panoramic like that. So yeah, I think the option I've got is actually really good, and I've been using it for a few months now, and I'm really pleased with it. Anyway, I'm going to keep it in suspense a little bit longer because I've got a bit of distance to get up a hill, and when we're about halfway up, I'll have a chat with you about it. Right guys, so I'm about halfway to my campsite. Well, really I can camp anywhere, so it's not too much of an issue. And that was a nice little shot, so it's a nice little bonus shot. And I think undoubtedly being able to just compose quickly in camera and take this shot that second that light came out meant I got it. Now if I'd have been stitching, I don't think I would have got it. So I think that's a real big plus point for my digital X-Pan. But what is the digital X-Pan, Jason, I hear you saying? Well, it's probably going to come as no surprise. It's the Panasonic S5. Well, actually this is the S5 Mark II. But to be honest, I used the S5 before, and I still use the S5. So really, either or, same difference to be honest. Image quality is pretty much identical. I tend to use the S5 Mark I with the wide and the zoom lens, and if I'm just walking around, I just use this with the 24-105 pretty much permanently attached. So it depends what lens I want to use really. Just keep life simple. Yeah, so Panasonic Lumix S system. 65-24 crop is a game changer for me. The fact that I can actually just quickly go into the Q menu, change the aspect ratio to 65-24, and then automatically have that perfect X-Pan aspect ratio in the viewfinder so I can compose a shot. It's absolutely wonderful. Now I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, but Jason, you crop it down 24 megapixels, and basically you're only using this sort of letterbox shape out the middle. So, you know, surely your file size is actually going to be pretty small after that. Well, yes and no. What I'm finding is it will upsize Super Res really nicely in Adobe Lightroom, like really nicely. It looks fantastic. But also, if I really want to get a nice big print, I just put it into the high res mode, which admittedly knocks it out the 65-24 crop, but it's fine. Compose in your 65-24 aspect ratio, put it into high res mode, take the shot, and then crop it down, and you get a nice huge file. But to be honest, between doing that and super res in Lightroom, I'm seeing very little difference. I suppose it's that back to, do you want to do it totally in camera or not? Overall, it's a lot easier than trying to compose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shots like that, get it perfectly level, and then stitch it together and get your composition spot on. So for me, this is as near as damn it as I will get to having a digital X-Pan. Anyway, it looks like the light might break, so I'm going to carry on and hopefully get another shot. The weather's a bit hit and miss, so let's keep our fingers crossed. So I'm really hoping you can see me. This is going to be the most terrible video in the world. I'm not sure if the light's going to break. It's a quite nice little shot. But it desperately needs light. And as you can see behind me, it doesn't look very optimistic. And this is the joys of landscape photography, isn't it, really? You know, I could stand around here for 2 hours and absolutely nothing could happen, and that's quite possible. But as I'm wild camping, and I'd like to find a nice tent spot, I think I'm just going to give it a couple of minutes and see what happens. No, I don't think it's to be. Well, I've got to admit to being a little bit disappointed about the way the light's panned out. It's to me, it doesn't look like it's going to break, because looks like it could be rain coming in, which it wasn't forecasted to. But you know, that's the nature of camping in the hills, isn't it? And as you've probably noticed, I'm making a priority to get my tent up as opposed to hanging around for the light. Because simply, if it does rain and I get soaking wet, it's going to be a pretty grim night putting my tent up in the rain and then sleeping in it. So really, I want to get the tent up ready. And then hopefully, it should have another hour or so until sunset. Hopefully the light will break. I've got a bit of height. I might get some nice views. Well, I'll get some nice views. I might get some nice light. If not, there's always the morning, you know. But it's just the nature of wild camping. But if you remember, last time I did a wild camping video in Northumberland, it's actually the same spot. And the next day actually turned out to be the most productive. So, you know, fingers crossed. Anyway, I'll just put the tent up. Okay, so that's my little North Face tadpole up. If only it was that quick in real life, eh? It's not the greatest picture I've ever done in my life, but you know, this tent's now, it's getting on. It has seen better days. It could do a little bit of TLC. I really need to get in touch with Philman Dave and ask him to have a look at it and sort of repair the broke things, really. But you know what? It's still a great tent and it's still really light. And you know, it's going to be a good bed for tonight. Anyway, I'm going to get my stuff in and I'll see you in there. There really is something so nice about getting into your own tent. It is like a home from home. I know it sounds corny, but... So as I said earlier, I'm travelling really light today. It still means I have to carry loads of stuff, really, but like sleeping bag, clothes, waterproof in case it rains. It's not supposed to rain. I think it's going to rain. Airbed. And then I won't get it for now, but basically chocolate, first aid kit in there. Obviously my camera. And yeah, that's about it really. Water, of course. But yeah, it's still... Honestly, if you've never wild camped, I can't recommend it enough. It's just such a nice thing to do. And it's so useful for photography because, you know, I'm going to wake up in the morning, I'm going to get up for sunrise, which means I'll probably get up about 4 o'clock. But I haven't got far to come. I'll literally come out the tent and walk, what, a minute, 2 minutes, to get to my viewpoint for sunrise. And you know, if sunrise doesn't happen, I've had a nice night up the hills. At the moment, I think it's going to rain, and I think it's going to properly rain. You know, what is it? Peter Kay said, wet rain. Yeah, I think it might be wet rain. You know. Anyway, I'm going to get my stuff set up, and then I'm going to have a little bit of a chill. And guys, I will see you in the morning. Let's hope the weather holds out. So far, I've got one nice shot. I managed to take another handheld shot walking up of some sheep on a rocky outcrop, which was all right, but you know, not what I was looking for. But hey, I've got one shot. I've got a night away, and I'm just going to enjoy myself, because really that's what it's about. Well, good morning. I hope you can hear me okay. I apologise now if the audio is not up to scratch, but the weather's vile. I managed to get the obligatory lit up tent at night shot, which I did actually by using my headlamp just to sort of do a bit of light painting on it. Yeah, that's a nice bit of fun, but yeah, the weather's now horrible, so I've packed the tent away quickly. And basically I'm going to try and march down so you can see all that mist and nastiness. I've got to walk down there and try and get down there before it gets any worse, really. So yeah, on this note, guys, I'm a little bit disappointed. You know, I wish I'd have got an extra shot. I've got two that I like though. And do I regret it? I'm never going to regret going wild camping. I love wild camping. I think every wild camping trip, even in the most vile conditions, brings a new experience with it, and it's all part and parcel of the fun, really. Well, oh, I'm conscious you probably can't see, we've got so many layers on. But yeah, so I'd do it again in a heartbeat. It was a great night out. Anyway, I'm going to end the video there, and I'm going to get down to the van, and I'm going to get away from this valley before this rain gets any worse. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. It was a very tongue-in-cheek look at my digital X-Pad. Obviously it's a Panasonic S5. I love the Lumix system. I think it's a great system. Yeah, perhaps not a digital X-Pan. Anyway guys, if you've enjoyed this video, please do consider giving it a thumbs up. Maybe subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And I'll see you again next week when hopefully it'll be a little bit drier. Thanks for watching.